Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors Podcast, your trusted source for outdoor information and entertainment. The Greenway Outdoors is also an internationally syndicated TV show and conservation advocate aimed at bringing millennials and Generation Z into the outdoors. Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors.
Hello and welcome to episode 82 of the Greenway Outdoors Podcast. I am your favorite host, Kyle Green.
I'm AJ.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Ryan.
Jeff, you're not supposed to wear your glasses while we do the podcast.
Or eat Lifesavers.
Why?
Yeah, the Lifesavers got to go too. Open your mouth.
I don't have gum or a mint.
No Werthers.
It sounds like you're working something over in there.
Hang on, I'm a little dry on the...
Why do you have your glasses on?
Because I didn't bring contacts
There's
today.
a glare from the lights. Just take them off.
What? Hey, close your eyes. Okay, now don't open them one time for the rest of the podcast. You don't got to see. Just talk.
What do you need? What do you need to see? You know what? Sometimes
it's nice when you have conversations to be able to see the people you're talking to.
Listen, if anybody here at this table could go without seeing you, they would. Trust me when I say that. So you might as well get your revenge and not see us.
I was just going to make that joke, but I was like, you know what? No, I'll be nice this podcast because we were pretty rough the last podcast.
Yeah. You look rough.
So.
Anyhow, I just keep going. It's like never ending. Like you're shocked. You know what I like to think about is, this is a question. We'll start with AJ, actually. I like to think about, what would it be like if you were born in ancient times? Would you still be alive? Like, would your appendix burst? Did you have some sort of broken thing? Did you have some ailment that would have killed you? As of right now, as you've navigated your life, if you took all of the illnesses that you've had, just premature. I mean, he came out see-through. That's why his ears are like that. That's why his hair's
he was coming from Dumbo over there.
Hey, I grew into my ears, okay? Let it go.
He looked premature until he was 17.
He was
That's a good one.
That was too close. That was not cool.
That was good.
But he was premature,
Yep.
less than that of a human, for sure.
You were like half goo coming
I had
out.
like 3/4 of one lung.
His grandma wouldn't look at him for a week because they were that sure he wasn't going to make it.
I was so little.
No, she was sure he wouldn't make it. She
It's
didn't
like
want to
if
waste her time on something that wasn't going to.
Is this for real? Waste her breath. She actually wouldn't hold you?
That's all
Yeah,
true.
she was afraid. She was afraid to like hurt me because I was so little.
Oh, it's so delicate.
It's like if someone just walked up with a baby and was like, "Hey, hold this." You're like,
I ain't
"I
touching
don't know what
that.
that baby is. I ain't touching that."
But I was technically conceived. My parents made love before his parents did, but he's older than me because he was born before me because he was premature.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. So Andy's blind as a bat, so no way for sure you would have been dead already. What about you, AJ?
Wait. Depends on how ancient we're talking because they've had glasses for.
Although the reason
Good
why you
bit.
were premature is because your mom was in a car accident.
Yeah, so
There was
that
no
wouldn't happen.
When was the wheel invented? You're dead. Anyhow, AJ, you.
You actually didn't
Cart
give
accident.
me a question.
AJ, go with nothing to go on. Go ahead.
You didn't give me a question.
So my question is, if you took all the ailments that you've had or difficulties that you've had with your health that you've experienced in your life, was modern medicine what saved you, or and you would have been dead in the past, or would you still be alive and kicking?
I have to imagine modern medicine played a part probably, but I've never been like severe
What are you sick with? That's the best.
I've never been like severe sick. So.
To be fair, the
I
three
think
of
I'd
us
still be
would
alive.
The three of us would be old men if we were alive back then because we're 30.
You look old now.
And that was the like.
And now
life
it's like,
expectancy.
life expectancy was like, if you were 50, you were old as dirt.
Jeff, you keep saying we've established you're dead. Okay, moving on.
I'm a month and a half older than you.
Kind of. We already went through that. Ryan?
I've got a few injuries. I don't know if they would be life-threatening. One of them might have been.
The two wrists?
No, not that one. I think I would have healed. Okay, so
That happened because of modern technology, though, so that wouldn't have counted.
what modern technology? I was in splints for 2
Yeah,
months.
but like, how did it happen? Weren't you in? You were in some kind of like you were doing something stupid and.
He was snowboarding.
No, it was wrestling practice.
I thought it was
that's right.
bicycle.
Was it? Yeah, I thought it had something.
That
to
was
do with
that was another
That was
injury.
the teeth. Right?
Oh, that was the teeth.
Let's go through them.
Can we let Ryan go?
So 2 broken wrists at the same time.
Ugh.
Then I was in splints for a few weeks.
And how
Didn't have
old?
to do homework though. That was the bomb. I was able to talk all my teachers into never turning in homework for that whole quarter.
Can we
How-
talk wiping?
I mean, after like
Him and his mama close, okay?
Hey,
Yeah.
leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Jeff brought it up.
Leave it alone.
You pitched the idea.
It's not trying to. Anyhow.
Wiping was like, because you don't have to bend your wrist. You can just kind of reach back and like pull your arm up.
You front to back kind of guy?
No, you reach back like this.
So you push down?
No. Oh wait, what did you say?
Front to back. I was just
Front to back. Yeah, normal.
something we could agree on.
Normal. I
Yeah.
don't reach around the.
Depends on the mess. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just face.
But if you make your diet right, you don't have to. You can just do the squeeze and cut. And
Yeah.
then you don't have to do any wiping.
Right.
That's usually what I do every day.
Yeah. As long as your
I
cutter's good.
Keep it nice and sharp.
So 2 broken wrists, and then I broke this hand snowboarding, but I never got any help from that. I just kind of let it hurt for a few months, and then finally I went to the doctor. And the doctor took an X-ray, said you did break it, but you waited so long, so it's pretty much healed now.
Idiot.
And he's gonna hurt. He said it's gonna hurt for a little bit longer, but you're almost fixed.
It it healed okay, anyways.
That
yeah,
only, that
I don't
only
have any issues with it now.
that speaks to you living and surviving longer.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
guess.
Like you were healing the old way already.
Then I'd be missing a lot of teeth.
I could see that.
The first time I lost some teeth, I got hit in the face with a chair.
Oh, they had chairs back then.
They did. They did.
And
Was
then,
it your sister?
No, it was a kid at school.
Really?
Yeah.
A kid hit you with a chair?
Yeah.
What's his
they-
name?
They didn't have school back then.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
It was like one of the stools that you'd have like in the art classroom or something.
Did he just straight up
Yeah.
swing it at you?
No, he kicked it.
And it just went up and hit you?
Hit me right in the face.
Oh my god.
No blood though, on that one, but busted teeth. Then got my teeth fixed, and then a summer or two
Was
later,
he like trying to kick it at you?
I don't know what happened.
Did you
It
kick
was
him
like-
back?
It's the weirdest story. He like we were in an art class. it's so strange. He like grabbed my hood and yanked me to the ground, and then like I'm
What
sitting
was
there
his problem?
cutting with scissors. I don't know, because we were actually kind of friends. Like it was really strange.
What in the world?
And then he like took my hood, yanked me to the ground, and like I'm not paying attention. It was like totally blind. It's like someone tackling you from the back and never seeing it coming.
Oh.
And then I'm like sitting there like, what is happening? And then like chair just comes from the side
Oh.
right into my mouth, and I'm just like,
I'll get his address after.
and then I look on, and then I pull some teeth out of my mouth, and then look on the ground, and there was some teeth.
There's just chiclets on the floor.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal.
We
Yeah.
make that joke all the time. I can't imagine it actually happening.
It was real. And
Ryan can't
dude,
keep his teeth in his
Ryan
mouth.
just said.
I was in 6th grade. I started crying. I went and looked in the mirror. I started
Oh,
crying.
yeah.
It, not because it hurt, because I didn't know they could fix teeth.
Oh yeah.
I
That's immediately traumatizing. You don't know what's gonna happen. You have no idea.
How would you
I
know?
had no idea they could fix teeth.
I'm
And
one homely looking dude for the rest of my life.
That's
right now.
that's exactly what I thought. Because all I had ever seen was like on molars, people have like gold teeth. I thought that's what they were gonna have to do to my front teeth.
Yeah.
like, cover it up.
rhinestones.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
a fear.
Dude, I
That
was
was,
freaked out.
That was I was at MSU and I'm standing on my front lawn.
This is
and
a good story.
A girl decides,
Oh
hey,
God.
I want a piggyback ride because we were gonna walk to whatever McDonald's or something down
Tilt
the street.
that mic towards your mouth.
And
Make
like
AJ's
this,
life easier
like
later.
this, right
Yep.
here?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm standing on the front lawn and she's on the front porch that's like probably a good 2-3 feet off the ground, and she jumps onto my back. And as she jumps onto my back, she yells like, you know, piggyback ride or whatever it is. Well, as she lands, her legs are like, it's almost like she was aiming to get like up on my shoulders instead of a piggyback ride. And I immediately start going forward, you know, like I'm now leaning forward because I've got this weight on my upper.
She a big girl?
You know, no, she's pretty little. But you know, I was a little surprised, and she was up so high. I attempted to correct by bringing my feet, you know, like real quick.
You
Step,
kind of
step,
went
step.
running forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I made it all the way to the sidewalk before we fell.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Which
she
way did you
landed,
fall?
and the first thing that hit that concrete was her teeth and her chin.
God.
Oh,
Why would she do that?
I mean, college kids.
we were at MSU. It
Yeah.
was a time.
Yeah.
But she, you know, I'm like freaking out because like I feel like it's, you know, even though I don't know that it was really anybody's fault, it was just kind of a conglomeration of things. But like, I feel like I ruined her. Her front teeth are ruined. Her front chin is all scraped and whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. She goes to the dentist and the doctor over the weekend, comes back, looks fine.
Okay.
Oh.
It's like, oh,
Nice.
okay, perfect. Thank goodness. 'Cause I felt just got awful.
Jeez.
Okay, Ryan, would you be dead or alive?
So the last one would have been my most life-threatening, and it had to do with my teeth again. I think I hit my head hard enough that I don't really remember. I remember falling, like adrenaline was going, like it was like kicked in and everything. It's the slowest life has ever moved for me. And I think that was the same summer I learned to ride without hands, and I think I may have been doing that.
I have a story like that.
But I was just riding through our subdivision, going to the neighbor's house to get my sister, because we had to go out somewhere, and just riding along. Next thing I know, I'm getting up. I'm like, okay, cool, like whatever. Just fell off my bike, and then I'm like about to bend over to pick up my bike, and my head is facing down, and then blood just out of my face, and it's like just like dripping all over the ground. I'm like, what the
Not
heck?
again.
Yeah.
Well, this is the most blood I've ever seen come out of myself. And so I go like I wipe my mouth like that. Hand is just like cut, like it'd be like dipping your hand in red paint.
Yeah.
Like it looked like that. And that's when it starts setting in like, oh my gosh, I messed up. And so I sprint back home, and I go knock on the front door, and my mom answers it first.
Oh, God.
And it was just like, and
Mommy.
and then my dad comes to the door, and my dad's like, he was in the military. He's seen plenty of injuries. He watched my aunt step on a pitchfork, and it like it went right through her foot, and like he's seen plenty of injury. He saw this and went like cringed like that. And in my head, in shock, I was like, why are you laughing at me? I said that. I was like, don't laugh.
No, you didn't. You said,
It was like that.
The bubbles.
Well, at that point, I started swelling up so bad. Then I think
don't laugh.
the next thing I said was I lost all my teeth. My gums had swollen up so bad I could only feel like the very, very bottom of the teeth.
Wow.
So I thought all around I had just smashed. You can kind of like see the scar on my lip, how it's kind of.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then I don't know. Can you see on my chin?
You got a little fur on there.
Not really. You got like a very slight little bald spot.
I have the
That's
same.
probably-
I have the same problem with my beard when I
Yeah.
grow it out.
Yeah.
That
Sure.
There's like if I was more well shaved, I would have like a line down here. But
Oh,
essentially,
gotcha.
what happened is when I fell, I hit the road, and then my lip got pulled down over my teeth, and then my teeth went through my lip, hit the concrete, broke off, and I also hit my chin, and I had to get plastic surgery for that. I was sitting in the hospital at like 2 a.m. The plastic surgeon comes in, and he's like trying to fix me up the best he can, and
You're like Jenna Jameson.
huh?
Huh?
I always thought you had your lips done. Moving on.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that would have
You
been
were dead too.
That would have been the most life-threatening because I was so opened up on my face here and down here that if I couldn't find a way to close all that up, I probably would have gotten a pretty bad infection.
Yeah.
Like you could like pull my lip apart like at a line up here. So that one's
Yeah.
Gnarly.
don't ride your bike without your hands. It's just
Especially in
stupid.
ancient times.
Oh, and then I think worse than all that. I didn't cry the whole time. I think it was because I was in so much shock. I didn't know what was happening. But worse than all that was I had to go into school. It was in the summertime. School started a little while later, and they needed everything to heal before they could fix my teeth. So I went like
Oh,
2
no.
months of school,
Oh,
picture day and
God.
everything without
Hi.
front teeth.
Hi guys.
Dude, I always smell like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I just would
Yeah.
not
Aw.
smile.
Sure.
It was rough.
Oh my god.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Do you have pictures from those times?
I have a picture of myself in the hospital.
Like showing your teeth?
We'll
We'll put that up.
I don't know. I don't know if I do or not. But
We'll find them.
if
Yeah.
we find one,
We'll hunt it
I'm
down.
sure you'll see it on screen.
We'll go head up to the high school and get it.
I was in middle school, but
They'll have
that
it.
was my most life-threatening event.
I don't think I've had anything that my appendix is good.
Paper cuts.
My wisdom teeth fit perfectly into my face. Couple paper cuts, but nothing that would. Cause I have no
you
issues.
haven't really had any like
You see 'em walking on
surgeries.
I've
water.
never had a
Maybe
surgery.
you had a broken bone.
I've had broken fingers.
Yeah.
From football.
Hmm.
I remember I was lined up against this kid in practice, and
3 times your size, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Everyone was. So like hut, and I remember I had to block him, but it was a pass block. So in football, when you're pass blocking, you just want to hold still, so you're just stopping them from going. And run blocking, you try and drive them backwards. So I get up and pass block, and we hit, and we like bounce off each other's helmet. So it's like boom, and we bounce back, and then we go forward again to go towards each other again. And he got lower than I did. So when I went to hit his chest with my hands, his helmet was there, and it got caught in like one of the little bar lines, and that jerk Jeremy Reynolds saw it, and he goes, and that just snapped them both fingers that were in there, because they were like in the helmet. And he goes and just turned and just snapped them both.
That's a flag.
Snapped them both.
Ugh.
I got the flag.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to, and I got broken fingers, and my dad didn't believe me, and neither did the coach. So I had to practice the rest of the day.
That's awesome.
That happened to me when I broke my wrists. When I broke both my wrists, and the coach was like, "You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, get back in there.
And then as it's setting in,
You want to ride home? Get out there.
Well, everything's like there's like a cone coming in around my vision. I'm like, he's like, "You're fine. Just get up." And it's like vision's slowly going because of the pain. I'm like, I am not fine. Please, I'm not fine.
I'm not fine. Something's going
Please
on.
do not make me go back out there.
Something's going on.
So yesterday, I was approached by a close acquaintance, you could say. She pulls out the phone. She's like, "Oh, you got to see these pictures of my son's friends' parents doing this hunting thing."
Oh God.
And I'm like,
My
"Okay."
trail cam pictures.
And let it be known that I would rather have squirrels juggling knives in my brain than look at anyone else's trail cam pictures or pictures of whatever you're hunting.
This helps me none.
I can't stress it enough.
It's the worst.
What I would rather. So anyway, so she pulls out the phone, and it's a picture of an antelope, and she's like, "Yeah, can you believe they got this?" That she didn't know what it was. I did. They have these in Texas, and they just roam around, and I just never knew that these animals were in this United States. I go, "That's an antelope, and that's probably shipped in from Africa, put in a high fenced area in Texas, and just a run of the mill high fenced hunting area." No. They're here. I go,
Not those ones.
nope.
They're here now.
We have.
But there's all these pictures, and then so I kept reiterating that these aren't native to the United States. And then there was a point where she was like, "Oh no, are they doing something illegal?" And then she like almost changed her opinion as if like since they're not native to the United States, she's not.
It must be illegal.
It must be illegal, or
How
she just
horrible is
doesn't
this?
understand how animals are imported.
You won't believe her reaction when she hears about a zoo.
Right. Yeah. I know, right? So I had to explain to this person that what like a high fenced canned area, whatever you want to call it, is, and it took some convincing, and I don't know why.
She just didn't believe a high fence was a real thing.
Yeah, she thought that they were in the middle of Texas hunting these antelope as if they're just migrating to wherever east or west.
I love that
Heading
people.
up to Colorado.
I love that people know one thing about you, and they're like, "Oh, this is like that thing.
Yeah.
Hey, you'll be interested in this." It's like, "Hey, listen, I found this cool thing at this antique store. You're old. I bet you'll like this."
Yeah.
I
I
wouldn't
gotta
do that
remember
to you.
some rebuttal.
The only antelope we have in North America that's native here is the pronghorn antelope, but that's not what she was showing you.
No.
So that's
No, it
kind of
wasn't.
funny. Yeah, the pronghorn antelope is something I've always wanted to hunt. That's the one we were going to do in by Area 51.
Roswell.
Okay.
In Roswell, New Mexico, and they've
I
got,
gotta get on that. That's in deadline for submitting. I think is in like 20 some days.
OnX has a new thing that like you can set up and like pay in, and then they automatically put you in all the lotteries you want, and it shows you all the lotteries and the dates and does it automatically.
That's
We should
genius.
just do that.
You should do that.
Just put in my 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Then because then we won't have to pay him, and then
That'll
no,
be
I'm just kidding. What have you been working on?
I've been working on the boring stuff that no one else wants to work on.
Behind the scenes,
Wah, wah.
Jeffrey does all like
I'm the dad of the group. I do all the contracts. I do the closed captions. And I'm part deaf, so I appreciate that they're there.
insurance.
Insurances. I just updated those last little things they wanted changed on the RAM contract for this year, so that's pretty exciting.
Okay.
That's
Is exciting the right word?
HR stuff, office things.
Speaking of HR,
operations,
AJ's been making some pretty aggressive moves on me and I was just wondering if you
Lucky.
I'm not feeling.
That's the response from HR. You should be happy.
I'm not feeling safe.
I've been trying for months.
AJ, what have you been working on?
I have been working on learning new animation programs.
For our graphics and stuff like that. We got a new
No,
program.
for us.
Because we're making cartoons now.
We're making kind. He's like, yeah, it's for us. Like, it's just a cartoon. He spent 3 days making it, and all it does is make fun of me. I'm like, hey. He's like, but isn't it funny? What about you, Rye?
I'm working on the Dove Hunt cast.
How's that one going? So our Huntcast is our secondary TV show that we distribute online through Carbon TV and YouTube. It's hunts that maybe aren't as crazy as some of our big episode ones, but also like good content and good different ways we can reach an audience. And I really like the feel that you've been doing with them, because our main TV show is very like voiceover heavy, very very experience driven, whereas I feel like Ryan's artistic ability in the Huntcast has really come out, where it's more of an artistic movie feel almost than our main show.
Yeah, it's just kind of like you're just be like if you're a fly on the wall more type.
We got more time to get into more of it, so there's more details. There's more like.
Yeah, but it's different though, because it's like you still have information.
Yeah, sure.
In both, but not as much information as the main episode. I don't know. It's kind of vloggy while also being a little more movie-ish.
It's like a very artistic, high production vlog.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way.
Yeah.
But it's not, because you're not talking to the camera.
No,
vlog
no,
isn't the right word.
No.
It's like its own thing. You should check out our Huntcast on our YouTube channel, or go to thegreenwayoutdoors.com to check it out. But
The Dungeness Crab one came out really good. I was really happy with that.
that one's still getting some solid views on Carbon TV and YouTube. It's still trucking away.
Yeah. But the dove one, this one's proving to be a little bit harder. It was just, I mean, dove hunting, filming birds in general is just extremely difficult. And then
A gray bird on a gray sky is hard to make interesting.
yeah,
that moves
that's
quick?
The
What's
size
wrong?
of your fists.
Right.
So
Whoa.
so
Quite the gesture.
yeah, this
That's
one
what I was talking about with AJ. Yeah.
this one's proving to be a little more difficult. So
Yeah.
you'll see it when it comes out. Okay.
It should be about, by the time they see this podcast, it'll probably be a week or so after that one that they'll be
It'll
able to
come out
access.
when it comes out.
It'll come-
Yeah.
No promises.
But I do like it. I like what you've done with it so far.
Yeah.
It's just, I was worried about it, and then I like watched what you did with the intro, and I was like, man, I suck at filming and editing compared to them. It's like he took something where I was like, oh, I don't know with this, and then I handed it to Ryan, and now it's the coolest thing we've made. I'm like, this is
Nice.
shut up, Ryan. That doesn't surprise me though. I'm working on the right now. I'm editing.
Hey, Kyle, what are you working on?
Thanks.
you.
We all ask.
Let's audit you.
It's hot at you. What have you been doing? You good for nothing? So I honestly, most of my day is taken up working with Tiffany, but Tiffany is the person that runs all of our marketing right now, with sponsorships and relationships with different networks, as well as so distribution of our content on different networks, and then our relationship with sponsors and stuff like that. Though normally my like October through November is that, but for whatever reason this year, everyone says COVID for everything. It's been January and February where all that's been going on, and everybody's massively behind. So I've been getting gummed up with that pretty bad. But right now we're editing the next episode 29, and it's we're talking about the Channel Islands off of the coast of Santa Barbara in California. And the Channel Islands are actually, they're a national park, the Channel Islands National Park. There's technically 8 little islands, but they say that there's only 5 because they've only named 5. And then like the one we went to was called like Potato, but that's not, it just looks like a potato. But it's like one of those local things where you go to Hawaii, and then you're like, what's the name of this fish? And they're like, Table Boss. It's like, what's the real name of this fish?
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they tell you the American one. You know what I mean?
Every time you ask a different person, they got a different name for it.
Right, and that's kind of the culture around the Channel Islands there. But I wanted to pull up some facts, because in doing my research for it, where I was like going through and talking about all the different cool facts that are in the Channel Islands for the voiceovers, I always like really dive deep into research to try and figure out like what cool facts I could give, depending on what the species is or the location. And in this case, I was really taken back by some of the information of the Channel Islands. So they've kind of rewrote history and how we perceive how people were traveling up and down the West Coast. So at the end of the last ice age, about 13,000 years ago, we did not believe that people were using boats at the time going up and down the West Coast. But now, well, I guess in 1959, they found remains of a guy who was actually dubbed the Arlington Springs Man, okay? And they found 2 femurs. And they used the carbon dating and, to go through the entire thing, and they figured out that these were from 13,000 years ago. So the end of the last ice age, which means if they were on those islands, and at that point the islands were still, a couple of them were still connected. So it was like one big mega island.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't know that people were using boats then, but obviously if they were on the island, they used boats to get there. So that tells us that they were using boats up and down there. So it kind of rewrote history, and it really shook up things when they found it. And then, so in 1959, the guy decided that. Then people took over it. And in 1989, they did more research. And then they changed the theory that they were actually the femurs of women. One woman. It was that was like how they determined it. But then in like 2006, I want to say, they went back and redid it. And then they determined that it was actually a man. So it was the Arlington Springs Man, and then Arlington Springs Woman, and then back to man again. I mean, it was very 2022. You know what I mean? It was very
good for them.
Which bathroom? Which bathroom?
Good for them.
As cool as the information is, who cares whether it's a girl or guy? What's cool is that it was there.
Right.
Yeah.
And
what's weird is they also found encased in the rock, same carbon dating, a cell phone.
Wait, for real?
No, I'm for real.
He says I'm kidding.
They proved. Oh my God! Time travel.
The coolest part about the whole deal was the fact that those are actually the oldest human remains ever found in North America. Period. And that's where they were found.
Oh, okay.
So that's the oldest records we have of people in North America
That's
as far as
interesting.
Fossils go.
If
That's
it was
cool.
the end, with the way carbon dating works, and it being the end of the ice age, I wonder what we had the Bering Sea Strait or what.
Yep.
We crossed over the land right there. I wonder if there was something like that going on around that area.
I don't know. It was colder than it is now, but that area is, very, very. What's the word that everyone uses? Like temperament or temper? Like it's always pretty consistent. There's a word for that.
Where's this guy's federal
Wait,
holiday?
what's the word for that? Consistent.
Yeah, he doesn't get a holiday.
No.
Well,
Huh.
how? I'm asking you questions that no one's gonna know the answer to.
Nope, I'm a book. Go ahead, encyclopedia.
Ask Jeeves.
When we had the ice age,
Throwback Thursday.
were we getting ice down into like glaciers into Michigan? Obviously we were. We know that. But how far south did the glaciers go?
Yeah, you are asking questions that no one knows the answers to.
According to
I told you.
Day after tomorrow,
maybe he walked
it
across
was
the
Kentucky.
A day after tomorrow.
to the Channel Islands. Maybe there was ice there.
That's what I'm wondering.
Nope.
He
it was
doesn't think
boats.
so. He thinks
Couldn't
it's
have been.
consistent.
Well, did they find the boat? Did they find the boat or no?
Tepid?
Tepid, maybe.
I think that's.
Did they find the boat or no?
No.
Well, there you go.
Was
there you
it
go.
called the
There you
Char-
go. He walked.
Was it called the Charlotte?
Because when we ice fish, another cool thing.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Motor Trend's Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. And by Bass Pro Shop and Cabelas. Your adventure starts here. Tracker Boats, fish the finest. And by these other fine sponsors. If you'd like to help support the Greenway Outdoors, please like and comment on this podcast and subscribe to all of our channels.
Another cool thing about the Channel Islands is it is home to the only carnivore that is native to only California, and it's called the island fox,
Oh yeah.
which is a fox that's about the size of a house cat.
Wait, say that. Stat
It's
again.
the island fox is the only carnivore unique to California.
Oh, okay.
Because
It's not found anywhere else other than
Right.
California.
yeah, I
That's interesting.
gummed that up pretty bad the first round.
It
But-
sounded like you were making it up as you went. I'm glad we clarified.
I just don't read things. So, I'm looking forward to your story though. No, I'm just kidding.
I wasn't trying to make fun. Why are you taking? He's the one busting on you.
Whoever I can get.
It's duck hunt out here.
Him now, get him.
You're like, I stuck up for you. I go, you made yourself a target.
Let's get this straight. You were making fun of him straight to his face. He was looking you in the eye while you were making fun of him, and he goes like this. Screw you. Like,
Another cool fact.
Up yours.
yeah.
Another cool fact that
we'll see how cool.
the 1924 released version of Peter Pan was actually filmed on Santa Cruz Island, which is one of the Channel Islands there. It was Tinker's Cove.
Oh, actually?
Yeah.
That's
Never-
cool.
never
The
left.
movie Hook with Robin Williams, that was not filmed there.
That's
That was,
interesting.
that was in Los Angeles. The soundstage.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that made my voiceovers was there's also plants that, not just the fox and other organisms that are there. Apparently, those foxes, though, they eat a lot of like random things. Their diet's more diverse. And 6 of the 8 islands have the foxes. And all of the different 6 are considered different subspecies of like
interesting.
almost descendants of the gray wolf, but they're technically all different. And they've gone through different problems with the gray wolf because of predation from hawks and eagles and stuff like that. So that's one of their issues because the things are only about the size of a house cat. So some of the numbers, there was like only 12 on the one island, and then the other one had a lot. So that, but they can't mix them.
I mean, those islands vary in size quite a bit. So
Yeah.
that's super interesting. That
Yeah. So I thought the fox thing was pretty cool. Now,
it makes you wonder how many other animals are like that one's strictly a Californian animal.
Yeah.
How many other animals in the United States are strictly that state's animal where it's not found anywhere else?
it's the
There
California.
can't be many.
It's California's only carnivore one. And the other cool thing is the islands have never been connected to the mainland. So they're about 30 miles offshore, which
Ooh,
is
long
one
ride.
hell of a
He
boat ride.
did get there by boat.
Be a long walk. Nobody's doing that. It's like be a long row too. Can you imagine rowing that far? Like halfway through, you got to be like, I don't know about this.
No,
'Cause
quarter of the way.
The boat ride was 2 hours, and we had 2 twin 150s.
I was tired of that boat ride by the time we got there.
We were all a little seasick.
Yeah.
Ryan ate it on the way home.
Well, I
You
went.
trapped yourself in that cabin.
I went into the dude. I felt better. I was getting pretty sick by the end of this trip, just being out there. I went inside. This is the last thing you ever want to do if you're seasick. By the way, I went in and somehow I was able to fall asleep. I'm like, I just laid as still as I possibly could while I'm like flying up.
Yeah, I know. Like we're hitting bumps, so like Ryan sleeping sound. It looked like this. He was like literally, like full on.
There was a few of them.
Jeff in 4th grade, like full on. Like that's how Jeff was in 4th grade.
It's
He
a
was that
shame
kid
because
in class.
you guys missed a pretty good sunset.
I don't want to hear about it. I know.
I enjoyed it. Talked to Jethro. He refused to put anything on but a towel at the point, but I still talked.
Was he naked?
He was.
Yeah.
He was. We
So-
all were.
so for some reason, he knows Forrest Gallant or Galante, which is he's on like Animal Planet. I think he's got his own show. He tries to find animals that are extinct. So he goes out searching for them, and he's actually rediscovered a few animals.
Okay.
And somehow they follow each other on Instagram. I don't know what the relationship's like, but it'd be cool to know. So Jethro, if you're
I
listening,
look forward to working with Jethro again.
he was great.
Yeah. Great guy.
To reiterate, because I don't know if I ever actually got to say it, but the whole point of them not being connected to California ever is why they have species and plants and animals that don't exist on the mainland. So it's just kind of cool.
Oh, like they started there, and that's
where they've been.
Okay.
So they call it. Some people call it the California's Galapagos, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Madagascar. Madagascar's separate, so and because it's isolated, the
This is my
species
story.
there end up evolving differently. And now they've got,
Okay.
I don't know how many different species there are in Madagascar that are specific only to Madagascar.
Where were the puffins?
Puffins
I think
were
that's South Africa, isn't it?
Nah.
Arctic or something.
We did a Jason project on
I
it.
did. I remember that. I made one.
Everything
out
was
of
puffin.
styrofoam.
Yep.
I know what one looks like real good.
Me
I
too.
can paint one.
They are the cold weather toucans.
Yep.
Nice.
So Herbert Lester,
The vacuum guy?
I don't know. That sounds like a guy that touches you when you don't want to be touched.
Lester
But
the molester.
Herbert Lester
Uncle.
lived on San Miguel Island, which is one of them, with his wife Elizabeth and their 2 young daughters from 1930 to 1942. Man, they were missing some big current events at that time.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Well, several, if not most of them, you can't go on, right? There's like
At this point,
like requirements, and if you're gonna stay there, you have to get like approved through the.
I said 1930.
Okay, so it's different then.
You should
No.
assume it was different then.
And they had a sheep operation at the time, and Elizabeth wrote a lovely book about their experience, and her husband called The Legendary King of San Miguel. The title was not happenstance. Like most women, Elizabeth Lester knew her husband well, wrote Elizabeth. Apparently, there was not going to be enough room on this tiny island of San Miguel for a queen, much less progeny. What's progeny?
Progeny.
What's that?
Children.
Oh,
Progeny.
so it doesn't sound like their marriage was doing well.
Yeah.
So,
Isolation.
yeah.
Silent killer.
Not a place for lovers.
Go to Potato Island instead. Now, about this, so
Potato Island.
the islands themselves, they're 30 miles offshore. They are technically a national park. There is a park that's going there. The weirdest thing that I saw while we were there was there's these things to do there and visitor centers on the one island, but nobody's there. Nobody. Like absolutely nobody was there. We saw one other boat and they were like skiing or something. No, they were surfing. They were surfing because on the one side you could surf. That was the only people we saw
that's right.
the entire time we were there, except for the DNR people that boarded our boat. They were like, what's it called?
They're very
Coast Guard?
aggressive out there.
Invasive.
No, the DNR people. Yeah, they like searched the boat and stuff. They like came right on board.
Coast Guard.
Yeah.
They got big problems with poaching and things out there.
Sure. It worked out fine, obviously. But the weirdest thing was they had like a bunch of kayaks on shore and things like that,
Oh, that's
like
right,
on
they did.
racks and everything. I'm like, well, who manages all that? He's like, it's just the honor system. I'm like,
That's crazy.
what?
Because isn't there on one of the islands? Can't you like camp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
got trails and everything.
Yep.
Certain time of the year.
It'd be awesome to go do that
Oh,
just to
man.
experience. be
I
on
would
an
love
island by
to see-
yourself.
Would love that.
I mean, we'll all go, but yeah,
30 miles offshore.
By myself.
Off the grid, dude.
don't
Eating
step foot on potato. I'll be
foxes.
eating foxes
Several,
on the one island where there's 12 left.
There's a whole bunch of them.
couple weeks from now, we're doing a podcast. Ryan's like, so what'd you guys get up to this weekend? I went camping. Oh, that's cool. Where'd you go camping? San Miguel Island.
Looking for the ghost of a.
Without us?
I would like to do do that,
Did you find
Yeah.
any progeny?
where they found
Lots of progeny.
where they found the femurs. It's like a site that you can't go to now. It's all like protected and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Why are they trying to do more research there?
No, it's just like don't. This
Just
is where
don't
we
mess
found
with
it. Yeah, it's like going to a museum
Memorial kind of
almost.
thing?
Or
Interesting.
yeah.
Makes you wonder how many more artifacts are on that island. 'Cause someone was there.
So if you get a boat, you can
Yeah.
just go there.
Metal detector.
But like it takes a certain level of boat to go out in the ocean 30 miles.
That's
Yeah.
true.
The weirdest thing is you see the islands the whole way. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like they're far, but they're always just never closer when you're driving.
Yeah.
They're just never closer.
Takes forever.
I like going out there, and as you're going, all of a sudden, all the dolphins come up, and they're swimming with you.
No one else likes
And
that.
pelicans, too.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucked, Jeff.
Yeah.
No, everyone thought that was kind of a drag.
now,
Really brought us down that day.
now the national park itself is the least visited national park in the United States of America. And the reason being isn't because it's not cool as hell. It's because it's really hard to get to.
Not accessible.
Yeah, it's hard to get to. But
You
it's,
got no
it's,
Jethro.
it's worth a visit. So it's off of the coast of Santa Barbara, about 30 miles. It's the island out there. Go check them out.
Oh, and as far as Jethro goes, he owns a business there in Santa Barbara called Blue Water Dive
Blue
Shop.
Water,
If you're
yeah.
there, go check it out. The guy's awesome. He's
Sweet
got
merch.
the merch is awesome.
Blue
He's got-
Water
yeah.
Hunter Dive Shop. And he sells spear guns and all kinds of diving equipment and stuff like that. That's who we worked with in this episode. You'll get to see him in it. Jethro wanted to apologize one more time. I did not know we were not supposed to pee in the rental suits. Now I know. But I got to be honest, it was cold when we went, and it felt great.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying it.
Yeah, I'm saying it. I'm saying it. I'm saying it, Adrian. I'm saying it. No, the the water was bitter cold while we were there.
Yeah,
We had
it
a
was pretty cold.
yeah.
It was wintertime.
Yeah, I want to say it was 60,
December. Yeah,
something like that. It was like 58 or 60.
Well,
It was
where
pretty
we
cold.
were staying in the morning, I mean, we were kind of up in the mountains, but where we were staying, it was cold in the morning time. Like we were,
Yeah.
were we in
40
the 30s?
No, I think it was like 41.
Okay.
Heated up.
Yeah, it didn't matter
quickly
because
over
that
the
one
day.
girl was growing out her armpit hair to keep herself warm
Ugh.
during the. Jeez, oh, Pete, California people are just something else, man.
I like that even when we go to warm places, somehow it still ends up being cold.
Yeah, when
It's
we
like
were
we
in
go in the
Texas and it
wintertime,
started snowing.
And we're in South Texas, and we're like, well, you know what? It won't be that bad. We're in Texas, so it'll still be cold. But
First
not
time
that
we had
cold.
snow in 8 years.
Yeah.
and we're riding in golf carts with no windshield, and we're just getting blasted in the face with snow and wind. And
That was
AJ goes, "Good. I hope it gets colder," or something.
Oh,
something
yeah,
to that
he
effect.
freaked out the one day. He's like,
None of us had brought warm enough clothes.
No.
Oh.
Well,
They're like,
I
yeah,
mean,
it's-
honestly, the night before we were in T-shirts. It was like 70-something degrees.
That was honestly one of the more fun trips.
Yeah.
Not the next day.
But we
Nope.
always get freak weather. It's always like, this never happens here. It's weird. You guys are here the one time that happens.
What town were we in California?
I want to
Santa,
say
Santa
It was
Monica,
a
Santa Barbara.
Bavaria.
Solva.
No,
Oh, Solvang.
Solvang. Yep.
Solvang. Yep.
Solvang is Bavaria. There was a restaurant there with the greatest waffle I've ever had in my life.
Solvang Cafe.
Is that what
It
it's
was
called?
dyed a color.
Mhm.
What color was it? The waffle.
It had ice cream
Was
on
it-
it. I never even got to see it. I said, more whipped cream, please.
No, I swear they dyed it.
No,
And he ate it with his face.
hands behind my back. It was a bet. But no, it was a giant waffle with vanilla ice cream on it, with cream on top of that, with blueberries in a blueberry sauce, strawberries, but like the greatest fruit you've ever had.
Yeah, it was
something,
awesome.
but
We're-
a
we're
whole
like-
banana.
Can I get a side of bacon and then eggs and toast? He's like, yeah, I'll take a waffle with 3 scoops of ice cream. And,
Nine
you
in the morning.
you got Tutti Frutti?
We're on holiday.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was the greatest waffle I've ever
That's
had.
where Scuba Steve dubbed Kyle Buddy the Elf
Yeah, yeah.
because
yeah.
of his obsession with sugar.
I bring up that waffle twice a week.
Not as much as you bring up the Hawaii girl.
When I find out why she paid for our dinner, I'll
She
quit,
stole
I'll
your
quit
money.
asking.
We're
And
gonna-
what-
we're gonna
but what
find
she's
out.
been done, I don't believe it.
She
I
stole the money.
I'm never gonna know. That's what I want to believe because I want it to be an elaborate story. But if you're wondering what we're checking about,
Check it out.
episode 80 of the Greenway Outdoors podcast, we break that down. But anyhow,
Yeah, it was.
Did you guys hear about the mayor from, it was
the mayor of
Hudson Springs or Hudson, Ohio?
No.
They're talking about a ban on ice fishing there.
why? COVID.
Enough people
Yeah,
don't
COVID.
like enough people don't like the idea of people being out on Hudson Springs Lake. So this guy comes.
Are you
in.
serious?
Yeah. So
Huh?
this guy, as the mayor of Hudson, Ohio, comes in, goes to the city council meeting while they're talking about this, and he goes, "Hey, listen, give a mouse a cookie. You get people out there, they're going to want to ice fish. Next thing you know, people are going to want ice fish in shanties, the little tents. Next thing you know, what does that lead to? Prostitution."
What?
And the whole place is like,
Making a chicken ranch on the ice?
nobody was expecting that. I would have guessed 50 things, and I wouldn't have come up with prostitution. So this guy,
That's hot though.
this guy trying to make a
Kind
point,
of a good idea.
Yeah.
trying to make a point that
Me and AJ are like,
things lead to another.
like we're the ones. Get it?
So then he immediately starts backtracking later. He's like, listen, through my experience with his whatever thing in journalism that he did, he was on like the news or something. And he's like, I'm just trying to, prove a point that, things lead to another and there's unexpected consequences. It's like, yeah, but that's pretty.
We're not bringing dinosaurs back,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. Right.
Okay.
And
I saw the movie.
so my first thought is this not a problem? But now that he's brought it up, people are like,
That's not a bad idea.
Now it is a he made the
so
problem.
now he's caused a problem.
yeah.
Well, I'm
Ice shanty lives matter.
I'm still trying to make the connection between a shanty and prostitution. Is it like a secret place to bring somebody?
Yeah.
I
Close-
guess because you're
close.
you're isolated. It's a small private little tent. I don't know.
It's not a clean environment. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not a truck
no.
stop,
I
you
don't.
know?
I don't look my best ice fishing. I wouldn't say.
Well, I don't think you'd use it to go ice fishing and then prostitution. I think you'd go there for the prostitution.
I don't know. It seems like I mean, after the 30 seconds, you might as well go back to fishing. That might be too far.
You got to bring it
yeah, we'll bring it back in.
Bring your stuff.
So shocker, this guy resigns later because
You get canceled.
now everyone's like,
Turns out he was running a prostitution
This guy-
ring.
Yes, please.
no,
But his prostitution ring was during the summer fishing, and he was trying to cut out the possibility of
Yeah,
the
right.
competition.
Right.
No, he got enough complaints, and other people in the city council even were like, "This guy comes up with the wildest things," and he's actually gone viral several times for saying just
Off the
off
wall.
the wall things. There was something about a
He's
book.
gonna be the next. He's gonna be the next. Catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah, no doubt.
So there was I don't know if it was a local, like a college or a high school, but they had a textbook that was about writing prompts, things that you can write about, and it was like a creative writing or something. And they basically did like not a book banning, not a book burning, but a book banning, because he said, or he tried to make that happen, because he's talking about this book about writing prompts and how it was basically child pornography.
What?
It's like, what writing prompt would possibly lead? But that is enough where people are like, oh, what's in this book? We better investigate. But now that we see this thing about ice fishing leads to prostitution, it's like, okay, so this guy's just
It's
nuts.
exactly the same thinking that took Dr. Seuss down. Too soon?
No.
No. Yeah. Jeff says yes.
I love Dr. Seuss.
I did too. I did
Other
too.
places you'll go.
Green eggs and ham. My dad used to actually make that.
That's great, man.
Of course he did.
Whatever, guys.
You guys are obsessed with your last name.
It's all about us.
So,
So what?
on another note, I have a mystery story for everybody.
Ooh.
I'm going to read this story, and there's going to be rules with this story.
Oh man.
You got to listen.
Is this one of those like read along? Turn to page 6 if you want to
So-
go.
It's actually
it's a-
popcorn.
go
reading.
into the cave.
Pre-meep test.
Pain on the numbers.
Pre-meep.
Did you guys get gum with your meep?
No, we got chocolate milk and blueberry muffins.
We got Nutri-Grain bars,
Yeah.
gum. Like,
Gum?
yeah, they gave us, because gum helps you concentrate.
You guys must have been rich.
It's Fenton, man.
Wasn't the meep the one where if you did well, you got a
Money.
scholarship?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. We got money. You got gum, though. That's cool. Okay, good.
really upset my
I
parents
think
how well I did
whoa,
on the meat
when
test.
did you guys take them?
High school.
High school.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you weren't a part
we
of
only
that.
had it up until 5th grade,
Yeah.
and they got rid of it.
If you did so well,
'Cause it
you
ended up being
got
a sham.
You got like $1,000 a year.
I got
going
$4
to-
grand.
Yeah, and I got $4 grand. We were the last year, I think, or the year after us. They got like half or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they quit that because it's stupid.
Go on with the core film.
All right.
I know.
So this story, I'm going to read it. Everyone hold your thoughts. Just listen. And enjoy.
Jeff, don't breathe in the mic. Go
Okay.
ahead, Ryan.
So the story is from the Vintage News. I want to give credit where credit is due. It's written by Ian Harvey. These are real events. This actually happened, and it's a crazy mystery story.
Get to the story.
So it's February of 1948. A resident of Clearwater, Florida, comes face to face with something totally unexpected. Walking the beach one morning, he stumbled upon a set of remarkable footprints in the sand. The prints were enormous, about 14 inches long and 11 inches wide. And even more remarkably, it had 3 toes, tipped with long claws.
But then when he looked backward,
Nope.
there was
was
only
one
one
rule.
set of
There's
footprints.
one
There
rule.
was one rule. So,
There's
tipped with long claws, the tourist tells the story of the strange tracks which came out of the Gulf of Mexico at the south end of the beach and walked on shore for about 2 miles before returning to the water and disappearing. No one could figure out what made the footprints, but 4 to 6 foot strides. But with the 4 foot with
Today,
Yeah, I know.
the.
okay, but with the 4 to 6 foot strides, it showed that whatever it was big. The creature's tracks showed up on the beach of various Florida towns for about 2 years. Its tracks were seen in towns between Clearwater and Sarasota, earning the name Old Three Toes. Very genius. During that time, several people claimed to have spotted the monster. For what else could it be? It was described as a large bird-like or large furry log with a head shaped like a hog's. It's like a pig.
Huh.
People's reactions ranged from baffled to terrified to skeptical. If it was some strange creature from the water, what havoc could it cause if it chose? If it was a hoax, who would go through so much trouble and to what end? More tracks were also found along the Suwannee River, which is about 40 miles from the ocean.
El Chupacabra.
So massive footprints, 4 to 6 foot strides, and it ranges a ways away from the ocean, which is strange. The strange tracks came to the attention
I think
of
I met this broad. I'm just kidding.
The strange tracks came to the attention of Ivan T. Sanderson, a zoologist of some repute, who wrote and commented on scientific issues in New York. Sanderson came to Florida to investigate and spent months studying the tracks and interviewing witnesses. He even dug up one of the prints to take home, according to an article in the Tampa Bay Times. Sanderson was like the Indiana Jones of the zoology world.
Did he write this article?
No, he didn't.
He's just patting himself on
He's
the back.
like the Indiana Jones of this industry.
Okay, so Indiana Jones, he made
One rule.
He made several trips to the African jungle for Cambridge University and the British Museum, which he then used as a fodder to write a best-selling book. He was also the person who came up with the term cryptozoology, referring to the pursuit of creatures out of legend, such as the Loch Ness Monster.
Bitcoin.
If anyone could crack the mystery of those three-toed tracks, it was believed to be him. After doing an extensive study and research, he determined that the prints couldn't be a hoax. They seemed far too deeply imprinted to have been made by a man or machine. He even went as far as to say he spotted the creature himself. He described it as being about 12 feet long, grayish yellow, and having large arms that resembled flippers. He also said it made big waves swimming as if it had a powerful kick. His final conclusion was that the creature had to be an enormous penguin, as silly as the idea sounded.
3 toes.
Yeah. After that, the tracks were spotted a few more times throughout the 50s, but after 1958, there were no more sightings of either prints or giant penguins. So, there's an enormous monster running around in Florida. 30 years later, on June 11th, 1988, the mystery was finally solved. The St. Petersburg Times wrote an article stating that old three toes was a hoax. A man from Clearwater named Tony Signorini.
Tony Three Toes.
Signorini.
Who cares? He's a liar.
You're Italian. You should know that.
He had confessed that he and a prankster friend had been responsible for leaving the mysterious tracks all those years ago. The article's writer went to Signorini's auto shop to interview him, and while the interviewer was there, he showed her a pair of very large cast iron feet with 3 toes. According to Signorini, at the instigation of Al Williams, his friend and boss at the time, they had created the 30-pound feet. Wow. Williams had apparently been taken with some photos from Smithsonian Magazine, which showed a dinosaur footprint that had been fossilized. After examining the print for a while, Williams came up with the idea to make the feet that matched.
What in the world?
And thought they would have fun with it. When the feet were complete, they bolted them to a pair of high-top tennis shoes. The 2 men loaded them into a rowboat and went to shallow water not far from shore, where Signorini would put the dino feet on and wade out of the water to the beach. To make the tracks so far apart, Signorini would balance on one foot, swinging the opposite leg back and forth to work up the momentum to make the jump to the other foot. Since each of the metal objects weighed about 30 pounds, the feat took some time and some stamina. Over the years,
a good swing on that thing.
Brother needs a hobby.
Yeah.
He's got one. He makes footprints.
Over the years, Signorini would occasionally pull the feet out of hiding and tell friends and family of the story of how the tracks came to be. And over time, he's left the only major player around to remember. His partner Al Williams died in 1970. Ivan Sanderson,
ironically, of a penguin killing.
Ivan Sanderson, the cryptologist or whatever he was,
Bitcoin guy, yeah.
Indiana Jones, Ivan Sanderson had taken his interest in cryptozoology elsewhere.
Taking his own life out of how upset he was.
Okay, anyways, he took his time and went to research Bigfoot and UFOs prior to his own death in 1973. Tony finally died in 2013, leaving the fabled feet to his son Jeff. Jeff inherited the feet, and
It was you sick bastard.
Dirty.
I guess they've become somewhat of a legacy in the local area.
Is there a restaurant with like three-legged cafe?
I don't know.
Three-toe
I
cafe?
thought that story was interesting, that he got a whole town believing that there was a giant 12-foot penguin running around, and had researchers coming down. And
My guess was if it wasn't fake, it was gonna be the aquatic skunk ape. Heard
what's that?
It doesn't have 3 toes, but it's like a tropical
like Jeff
Bigfoot.
with
It's the Florida Sasquatch,
Correct.
basically.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's aquatic?
Yeah.
I was waiting for a joke. Like 3 years later, in a distant, remote cave, they found a man named Oswald Cobblepot, and that's
Penguin?
that's the penguin from Batman. I thought that would have been funny. I was waiting for it to be a big joke.
I thought the Indiana
it was
Jones
all real.
guy was
Oh.
gonna kill the guy with the feet because like he
it approached him. And he
Oh, like you're
tried
going
to
to get
defend
shot?
himself.
my life's work's been into this.
Yeah.
And it's a big.
Well, that's what
hoax.
I'm kind of wondering. Because that guy, Indiana Jones, was fighting for the fact that this is real. I
Right.
saw it.
It wasn't you.
How-
It couldn't have been.
It couldn't have been.
I spent years of my life on this. He's real.
At
I
what
get-
point
but
would you
he-
start feeling guilty? Like, all right, I'm eating up everybody's time. This is a little shitty.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
could. You
You
believe
don't know if
that?
you could feel guilty?
Yeah, about that. You're carrying around 30-pound feet. That's worth it.
I wonder if that like Indiana Jones guy was like commissioned. Like, who's writing the check for that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he was working for some big companies.
Cambridge. Yeah.
Yeah, and the British Museum and all that.
Yeah.
So
On
There
that
you go.
note,
Cool.
we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Greenway Outdoors podcast.
And story time.
That's the penguin from Batman. Come on.
No, I'm still not getting it. Anyhow, check out the Greenway Outdoors TV show. You can find that on thegreenwayoutdoors.com and also our YouTube channel, Carbon TV. Check us out there, and we're also on a bunch of other streaming services that you can find out how to watch our show if you go to thegreenwayoutdoors.com, click how to watch, and you can find all the services there. In addition, our secondary Huntcast TV show, which can be found on our YouTube channel and Carbon TV as well. And hopefully Ryan's Dove episode will be done soon and look pretty cool. On top of that, we've got an episode of our podcast which is released at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Friday. But if you are listening to this podcast on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, something like that, you can also find us on our YouTube channel so you can watch it and see cool pictures of things with 3 toes. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay green.